Hey, what's up guys? Phoenix here. This video is going to be another Yu-Gi-Oh! Card review / discussion type video on a new piece of DDD support set to release in the OCG's next pack. Now, the pack name being Maximum Crisis, and I'm having a fucking crisis. This card, Floodgates. Oh boy, but anyway, DDD gets a Floodgate that they can search off of Kepler, which is both interesting and terrifying because, I mean, if DDD is still relevant, or at least semi-playable by the time this card comes out in the OCG, or for us, even though in the OCG the deck has been hit a bit on the ban list, for us, if DDD is still full power and still, capable of being somewhat relevant, this card could actually do some things, considering the fact that it is a searchable Floodgate off of Kepler, as I've already established. But the card in question for today is Dark Contract with the Eternal Darkness, a continuous trap card that, as I already have said many times, can be searched off DD Savant Kepler. That's what's very important about this. Just like all the other contracts, it's searchable off Kepler and through the various other means that the deck provides. But its effect is, while you have 2 DD cards in your Pendulum Zones, your opponent cannot target monsters on the field with spell or trap effects. Also, they cannot tribute monsters on the field for a tribute summon, or use them as fusion, synchro, or exceeds materials for a summon. Oh. Once per turn during your standby phase, take 1,000 damage. So, this thing doesn't even, punish you and make you take the full 2,000 damage that other contracts have made you take. And this is better than almost all of those contracts that make you take 2,000. I find that insanely ridiculous and also interesting. But it isn't the easiest thing to establish, even though, I mean, it kind of is. Let's be real here. All it requires you to have is 2 DD cards in your Pendulum Zone, and it only restricts your opponent. That's the biggest thing, is that if your opponent, you can set this up with no board and still be able to make plays. It's very much like Vandy's Fiend versus Vandy's Ruler in the current DDD decks that we have before the structure deck, is that Ruler is strictly better than Fiend in most cases. Even though it is harder to establish, it still allows you to play versus not allowing either player to play. This is the same sort of nonsense. It allows only your opponent to not target cards, and it allows only your opponent to not tribute summon or use monsters on the field as fusion, synchro, or seize materials. Now, fusion is a little bit less relevant because you're able to fuse from hand and stuff like that, but in the case of matchups like Metal Foes, that means you're not going to be getting any value out of your Metal Foes fusions because you're going to be fusing with Pendulum monsters from hand, things like that, even though I don't expect that deck to be relevant at all by the time this card comes out. That's just a thing that I'm using as an example. The main meat of this is the fact that, yeah, you can fuse from hand, but you can't synchro or exceeds from hand with any card that I can, name off the top of my head right now. That's not something that happens. So this is essentially a domain of the Monarchs that is searchable off DDD, and it's actually really easy to establish, and it also just allows you, the player controlling this card, to keep playing on that turn as well as subsequent turns, whereas your opponent just doesn't. Your opponent is heavily handicapped, as well as it turning every monster on the field into a Magispector. That's also pretty cool. I mean, not a full Magispector. They can definitely still be destroyed by card effects, but they can't be targeted, and this affects every monster on the field. This is all very strange to me. Why these cards are still being printed in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Even though this is not generic at all, that's almost just as bad because of the fact that it is a searchable Floodgate. Searchable Floodgates are absolutely cancer. And now this is one of the easier to out Floodgates, but it still requires you to out it with spell or trap destruction. That's still the problem. That's the problem that every Floodgate has, is that you either have the out or you lose. And it's kind of annoying me a bit that Konami still thinks that it's okay to print these cards, these types of cards, just because of the fact that they can't think of anything better to do. And that's just really agitating to me. So I'm not going to talk anymore about this card because of the fact that it really is just bugging the shit out of me that Konami is still printing Floodgates, even though they are actively taking a progressive stance against Floodgates by banning Kaiser Coliseum, things like that. I don't understand. I don't get it. They'll ban Floodgates and print new ones. You got to understand that there's a problem here somewhere. You've got to make the correlation that you keep banning these cards and limiting them and hitting them because they're unfair, but then you keep printing them. and then you keep printing them for archetypes that can search them. I don't understand. But anyway, I want to know what you guys think about this card in the comments down below. It is, at the end of the day, still a very nice piece of DD support. It's something that could potentially put the deck back on the map in the OCG, as well as something that could be very useful in the TCG if we get this card. I think we get this card before Nationals. Not sure. But, yeah, Maximum Crisis comes out in like 2 months in the OCG or something like that. We'll get it like April, I think. Maybe? I don't know. My dates are all messed up. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this card in the comments down below. Like I said, it is a very nice piece of DD support. And it is something that's very, like, game-ending for the deck, which is something that the deck doesn't really have outside of combo pieces. And just pure combo potential. That's usually what ends the game, but this is actually a Floodgate you can search. So, I mean, hey, might as well, right? But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this card in the comments down below. If you have any other cards you'd like me to do a discussion on, leave a comment down below as well. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Other than that, just do your same old nonsense of like, commenting, and subscribing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Many times I've said this because I mean it. But other than that, I guess that's it for this video. Again, just let me know what you guys think. And I'm really curious to see your opinions and all that sort of nonsense. Links are in the description to Facebook if you want to connect with me, chat with me, whatever. And other than that, I guess thank you for watching as always. Thank you for your time as usual. And take care, guys. See you in the next video.